On the night of a crescent moon, Sonic fell down as he laid on the hammock and sighed, thinking what his friends were saying to him. So cruel and so harsh. He couldn't help but feel so numb and heartbroken. He can hear his friends' voices said in horrid words and couldn't ever forget the way they told him they never wanted to see him again. After they said it, they walked away from Sonic without saying a word. Sonic cried himself to sleep that night when no one was looking. Then the rain started to pour as Sonic fell asleep, but that's when it happened. The nightmare. Sonic was in total darkness. He walked around until a demonic voice suddenly said as a cackle appeared, hee hee, I'm back. I don't know why, but I thought that said, hee hee, I'm black. Sonic gasped. Sonic gasped and said, who's there? The voice said, hee hee, now don't act like you don't remember, Sonic. I was your evil self after all. Glitch-like memories and blood-curdling screams started recalling Sonic as the blue hedgehog gasped in horror. Sonic said in fright, exe. The voice said, correction, the new, improved EXE. Sonic turned to gasp in horror to see himself covered in blood with a sickening grin before waking up. Nightmare ends. Sonic sweats in fear as he's gasped in fear and shock and woke up from the nightmare. He heavily breaths as he said, shaking, oh no, he's coming, he's returning, I feel so alone, EXE, his voice said from behind. You're not going to be alone, things will get twisted. He grabbed the right part of his face and covered his eye as Sonic went motionless. EXE snarled and said with a sickening grin, now time to begin what you started a long time ago as a teenager, when you created me from your first kill. It was a real thrill until your stupid angelic older brother ruined it for us. Don't forget when I made you. Actually, you're me, but still, I made you notorious, I made you a monster, I made you the killer you were meant to be, I made you... Yeah, whatever. Sonic closed his eyes for a minute or two before his eyes opened instantly and turned red as EXE said, I will give you revenge on what you desire most, your mother. Sonic gasped at the mention of his mother. Sonic began to slowly turn into a killer as EXE's evil laughter was heard, but that's when the killings began. Wow, what a great prologue! Chapter 1. The Unexplainable Accident. Or was it? That makes no sense grammatically. When 3 weeks had passed, things were quiet in the village, almost too quiet. Knuckles, Tails, Amy, and Styx were having a quiet afternoon like they did 3 weeks ago, but it felt depressing and too quiet without Sonic around. Tails said, sighs. Things sure aren't the same without Sonic around, Knuckles said sadly. Yeah, you think we went too far? Styx nodded, as Amy said, yeah, I think we did. We can't stay mad at Sonic forever. I mean, he just couldn't help himself. Knuckles said, yeah, that's just Sonic being Sonic. Sighs. Knuckles was the first of being guilty, but didn't want to say anything, but something gave him a chill as he had a flashback about when he encountered Sonic alone. Flashback. Knuckles started to feel guilty and wanted Sonic to know he wasn't mad anymore. He arrived at his house but noticed he wasn't there. The red echidna said in confusion, weird, I wonder if Sonic is O. Huh? He trailed off as he sees Sonic walking past the beach shack with an unusual cold look. Knuckles said, hey, so! He trailed as he noticed something on Sonic's hand and on his shoes. It looked like oil, dirt, bruises, tiny cuts, and fresh ashes. Knuckles rushed to him and Sonic gave him a cold glare. Knuckles asked Sonic, are you okay? Sonic replied coldly, why do you care? You never want to see my face again. Knuckles ignored his cold talk and said, Sonic, I mean, are you really okay? What happened to you? Sonic looked at himself and said, it's just a scratch. I was just doing some runs and all. Knuckles said, a scratch? You're covered in bruises. Does that even look like a scratch? Didn't say anything before walking off. Knuckles thought as Tails and Styx were looking at each other. He was covered in ashes and oil. He looked like he was in a fire accident or something, but there wasn't a burn mark on him, just those bruises and tiny cuts. Recalls the bruises and tiny cuts. How could Sonic possibly have those cuts? What? There was no way Sonic could run without hurting himself. In fact, Sonic was careful of running even with his speed. He never got hurt like that, but I've never seen him so cold. Amy was quiet as Tails said, hey Knuckles, are you okay? Knuckles said, yeah, I am. I was just... He got cut off as the anchor bird said as the news was... This is hard to read. This is Sora the Eagle reporting live in a very horrible sight. The evil lair of Dr. E been blown into an explosion, and this here of what remains is the evil lair. Camera pans out to the evil lair, or rather what's left of it that was destroyed and beyond repair. This just in, Dr. E was found dead, and what's left of the evil lair along with Morpho and his other robots. Who the hell is Morpho? Cause of death was possibly due to the horrifying explosion of his evil lair. Time of death was 10 a.m. midnight and 2 in the morning 3 weeks ago. What was that sentence? Caught in the wild blaze of the explosion, what the police found were 700,000 pounds of dynamite, or what's left of it anyways, but that's not all. Orbot and Cubot were surprisingly destroyed. They were flung out of the lair, and sadly their heads were stomped multiple times, so we have no further information regarding the terrible accident. Was it an accident or possible murder? Stay tuned for more action news. Now we go to local weatherwoman Merryweather the Panda for some weather sport. Merryweather the Panda appeared on TV and said, "Thank you, sore." And now for the forecast. This week we'll have a chance of rainstorms and cloudy skies, but one rainstorm in particular has unsolvable yet unusual details. This rainstorm is supposedly led crowds to having a bloody rain this week. Back to more. As the four friends were horrified at the news, Knuckles thought dead, but recall Sonic again. No, this can't be true. Shakes his head. No, get a grimp. Crimp? Sonic wouldn't do anything like that. It must be a coincidence. On the bright side, the battle against the ball-headed windbag was over. But what in the world is going on with Sonic? Earlier, just after the explosion happened, Sonic looked at the blaze of the evil lair in the dark night. He grinned before Orbot and Cubot were calling out fire painfully in agony. Sonic walked to them and looked down as Cubot mumbled, "You, why?" Sonic growled and whispered, "I'm sick of your and that fathead's crap. Battle after battle and he never learns. This will be your demise." I gotta say, this actually feels good, killing people. I am God. And Sonic smashed Cubot's head with one stomp and his head went into thousands of pieces, which got him ended up being bruised and cut from the tiny metal pieces. Sonic looked at Orbot and whispered in a dark voice, "I've been waiting to do this for a long time." That's when Sonic stomped on Orbot's head and his shattered loudly and violently. Sonic then looked at the blaze and said as he grinned, "I got some souls to collect and so little time, but this is only the beginning, right? I am God." Sonic then cackled and laughed in a demonically deep voice as the blazes rose higher into the sky. Now, Sonic had a spine chill as he felt like he was going to be sick and said, "I don't understand what happened. Why, Sonic? This way, what's going on here?" Tails shrugged and Amy and Sticks shrugged as well, but things don't go well when the night falls. Sticks couldn't sleep due to the fact that she felt horrible about how she and the other three treated Sonic. She then decided to take some needed fresh air before spying a familiar figure in the shadows walking in the distance. Sticks knew right away it was Sonic, but something was off. Sticks looked at Sonic with a strange look on her face. At first she didn't think nothing of it. What? Why was Sticks looking at Sonic strangely? She gasped as she heard the loud cracking sound of a bone. She turned to see Sonic with a pipe and something in front of his feet. She said in a frightening voice as she recognized one of the Go-Govas that was lying down unconscious and bleeding. You knocked out a Go-Gova." Sonic didn't say anything, a low growl, and Sticks said Sonic. Sonic didn't say anything before walking away, dragging the Go-Gova with him. Sticks said, "Hey, wait, where are you going?" That's when a familiar voice said, "Are you okay, man?" Sticks turned to see Og and said, "Oh, it's you, Og." Who the hell is Og? "I need your help." Sonic knocked out a good Go-Gova by hitting it hard with a pipe and left as he dragged it. Og said, "Whoa, why did he do that?" Sticks said, "I don't know, but I'm starting to worry." With that said, Sticks and Og went out to search for him, but before they knew it, they were separated as Sticks looked to see blood on the ground and said as she sees blood smears on the tree, gasped, What happened?" "Sonic must have been here," gasped as he sees the Go-Gova lying on the ground in a pool of blood. "Oh my gosh," rushes to the Go-Gova. I can't read Go-Gova 20 times. I'm just gonna call it Go. Check its pulse, but there was none. "It's dead. The Go is dead." Sticks then ran deeper into the jungle before seeing Sonic standing there. With his back facing her. Sticks said, "Sonic, what happened?" Sticks then sees Og dead with wide eyes. She begins to have tears in her eyes looking at Og's corpse. He was pinned to a tree with knives and dissected like a frog in a biology class. Sticks cried and then looked at Sonic and said in a choked voice, Well, why, Sonic? Why did you do this?" Sonic smirked evilly before turning to Sticks with his eyes black and his pupils red covered in blood. As he made a loud cackle, Sticks' eyes widened in fear and shock. She screamed and ran as fast as she could, but she tripped into her horror and surprised Sonic was right in front of her. He forgot to grab her boomerang, and she tried to scoot away from him, but needed up quartered to a tree. Stick said, begging Sonic not to kill her. Papa, please, Sonic, don't kill me. I'm sorry, please don't do this. Sonic said in a deep demonic voice, too late. You know something, Stixie? Since you were once my friend, I tolerated for a while, but now I'm getting annoyed with your arrogance and crazy talk. Grabs her by the neck and hoists her up, still pinning her to the tree. But now it's time for you to die. Sonic gripped tighter and tighter as Styx tried to claw out of his grasp. Sonic's grip was so tight it made her neck bleed. Styx began to bleed as she said in a choked voice, I'm so cracked. Before Styx can finish her last sentence, a wet crack sound was heard and Styx was so limp and emotionless. Sonic said as he forced her corpse into a branch stabbed through her chest. Hee hee hee. Well, that's one way to end her life. All that stupid badger does is just give me a stupid headache. He then laughed evil as the two corpses bled and stared into the dark abyss. Chapter 3. A bad fight. Gruesome fight. Vector's friend, Charmy the Bumblebee, was buzzing around as he hummed happily through the jungle, but as he looked up the jungle, his eyes widened in horror. A voice screamed at the horrible sight. Later, the village was having as the mayor said, now, people, just calm down. Lady Walrus said in a panicked voice, calm down? Someone murdered one of the goes last night. B.W. Barker and his son Sean were there, as well as everyone else. The mayor continued, alright, so we have a notorious murderer on our hands, but what should we do? It's just probably one of the villain's evil schemes. Dave the Inter said as he raised his can, we villains are many things, but murdering isn't one of them. Mayor Fink rolled his eyes and said, right, but anyway, we don't know what to do besides lock our doors and never go out at night. Lady Wallace said, the last thing I wanted was for my kids to be slaughtered by some madman. Mayor Fink said, well, we have to find out. See Sean not paying attention to this? Hey, you, pay attention, this is serious. Sean said, you don't even know who the killer is. We know they're a killer on the loose, and you call yourself a mayor. Mayor Fink said, you watch your tone, boy, or I will throw you out. VW butted him, hey, you can't speak to him that way. Back off, he's right, we both know about this effort. Since the Doc's lair was destroyed, it doesn't make sense that he planted those dynamite on his lair by accident. Sean nodded in agreement. One of the villagers said, well, you wouldn't be worried if someone made you look the other way, Barker. Sean said, well, you just leave him out of it. That's when one of the ghosts got angry and said, as he picked up a chair, well, you will excuse me, one of my family members got murdered, and you're not even concerned about it. Then he accidentally threw a chair at Sean, causing him to get hit and sit down and lean on the wall bleeding. The crowd gasped as the ghost realized what he did. Mayor Fink said it served him right. Baker snapped. Well, you all just shut up. He was the only one trying to stand up for this old man. I may be a con man and an actual ringmaster of the Circus of Wonders, but I'm also a freaking parent. Barker then rushed up the son of his sister. What did my only son do to you? What did any of my family members ever do to all of you? First, my wife had to suffer and die in front of his eyes. No one bothered to help her, but now that she's gone, it's my son's turn. What did we even do? No, listen here, like we said before, we knew there was a killer on the loose. We may be cut out to hide, but me and my kid are not ready for this, and as long as me and Sean are no help, we're going to leave. Rounding up the stump bears and getting out of the village. Barker then helped Sean as he groaned, super glaring at his father. And the father of Gova said, why did you do that? We're guilt trippers, not angry trippers. I don't care. I know you're set because one of your own type, but we don't hurt people. They may hate us. One of Gova said, in guilt, I didn't mean to hurt him. Wait, one of them? Why not the... What? What is this story? I can't read it. Barker mumbled under his breath while bandaging Sean's head. Sean said, Dad, I'll be fine, it's just a blow to the head. Barker said as he sighed, I know, but your head is bleeding, son. I don't want to lose you like I lost your mother. We need to find some bears and get out of here. Barker and Sean took a quick peek at the alleyway into the order. They see the heads of their two stunned bears on one stick each. Their eyes were yanked off, blood trailing down their mouths and necks. And flies already starting to lay eggs in their heads. Sean and Barker were petrified at the sight before they screamed in horror. Okay, this is the last chapter. I can't do this. Knuckles was walking around still having a chilling moment and having flashbacks of Sonic on that day. He then sees Shane and Barker in the car with their stuff packed, preparing to leave. Knuckles asked them, what are you guys doing? Barker said as he panicked, the killer got my stunt bears. The killer killed my two stunt bears. Sean said, is it Sean or is it Shane? I'm so confused. And we're out of here. Let's go, Dad. Barker nodded before putting the pedal to the metal and speeding out of the village. Knuckles was confused for a moment or two before seeing the decapitated heads and the now starting decomposing heads of the stunt bears. Knuckles almost felt like throwing up as he felt sick to his stomach. Knuckles walked away from the scene and into the forest. He sees Sonic at the stream before walking to him. Knuckles asked, hey Sonic, is everything okay? Sonic said without turning to face him, yeah. Knuckles asked, what are you doing? Sonic said, still not turning to him. I'm just washing up, nothing else. Knuckles said, hey, are you free tonight? Freedom light? Sonic said, "No, I have other plans tonight, some other time, okay?" Knuckles and Others were walking away, but then he turned to Sonic and noticed something. He sees the stream, but catches a glimpse of crimson red liquid in the stream. Knuckles uttered a gasp in horror, shocked before he ran off. Later, Knuckles ran into Amy and Tails. Knuckles heavily breathed and said, "Where's Sticks at?" Amy shrugged and said, "Oh no, I went to her house, but she wasn't there. She hasn't been seen all day." Then Vector came to them with SP and Charmy as he said, "Hey guys." Tails said, "Hey Vector, was it?" Vector's face darkening as he said, "You know your friend Six the Badger?" Knuckles said, worried, "Well, what's wrong? Is she okay?" Espio shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, but she was found dead along with Ugg and the Go that was found as well." The three gasped in horror as Amy's heart break, but her best friend is gone this time for good. Amy broke down crying and screamed, "No, Steaks!" Knuckles cried as Tails was in shock. Espio said, "We contacted what's left of her family. They're making the arrangements. I'm sorry for your loss." The three detectives walked away, leaving the three friends to cry and mourn and grieve for their friend. Knuckles cried as well, but he was frightened of Sonic. He didn't want to believe Sonic was capable of doing this, Knuckles thought. But how could this happen? Something's not right with Sonic. But what?